A movie doesn't always have to be good to become a classic. Crappy movies have always had their place in cinema, from the atomic age disasters of the 1950s to trauma films and modern gems like The Room and Sharknado. But in my mind, there's one creation that reigns as the greatest shitty movie of all time. It's part horror B-movie, part cheesy martial arts flick, and 100% comedic parody. The 2017 low-budget masterpiece, The Velocipastor. This magnum opus tells the tale of a pastor who's cursed by a mysterious fossil that turns him into a dinosaur. And the Velocipastor embraced the so bad it's good vibe so perfectly that it became an instant cult classic. Velocipastor fans, who call themselves Velocipostles, came together to raise over $100,000 for a sequel to be made. But nearly 4 years after the sequel's Kickstarter launch, these fans still haven't received their copies of the film. In this video, I'll be covering the first Velocipastor movie along with the drama that surrounded its sequel. So consider this your spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie yet. I've added chapters below so you can skip ahead if you want. Also glazing alert, because I'm about to gush over how much I love this fucking movie. The Velocipastor opens with a sermon from our protagonist, Pastor Doug. He steps outside the church and his parents immediately get car bombed. And this is the moment all Velocipostles fell in love with this movie. Just forgoing all special effects for the sake of this amazing gag, even the camera panning is funny. Another pastor named Father Stewart does a poor job of comforting Doug.
So your parents died, Doug. It's what parents do. They die on you.
This dude's operating on pure Vulcan logic. So in his grief, Doug decides to take some time away from the Lord. He travels to the most godless land he can think of, China. And as he explores the Far East, he encounters this woman sprinting through the forest.
China is East.
We're only about 3 minutes into this movie, and Doug's already witnessed the deaths of his parents and this ninja lady. She begs him to destroy this cursed object known as the Dragon Stone, but Doug doesn't speak Chinese, so he's like, hey, thanks for the souvenir. The stone cuts his hand, and of course, he develops an insatiable appetite for human flesh. Back home, Doug experiences his first dinosaur werewolf transformation. He saves a hooker named Carol from this no-good thug. I just love the way Greg Cohan chose to play the part of Doug. The purity and naivete of his character reminds me so much of Trey Parker's role in Orgasmo. So this pimp daddy comes to the church and confesses to blowing up the car that killed Doug's parents. The pastor Hulk rage activates his dinosaur powers and just rips the dude apart. To sum up the rest of the movie, Doug encounters an exorcist and some Australian ninjas. He violates the sanctity of his priesthood by banging the hooker he saved. Then he gets attacked by more ninjas. And if you're wondering how this works into any type of storyline, here's the plot. The ninja gang is trying to use the church as a hub to sell hyper-addictive cocaine. Their plan is to get the congregation hopelessly addicted, then cut off the supply, forcing the addicts to become their personal militia in exchange for drugs. Then they'll conquer the world or whatever. So now that you're all caught up, Doug engages in his final battle with the ninjas. He transforms and we see his full dinosaur body for the first time. This prehistoric boy needs a chiropractor. How could you not love watching this? Honestly, this is the most joyful shit that's ever been put onto a screen. The Velocipastor was made for just $36,000 and goddamn, it was worth every penny. And when it came time to crowdfund for Velocipastor 2, the filmmakers were hoping to raise $275,000. A Kickstarter launched in October 2022, but it was canceled after raising less than $100,000. A second Kickstarter was put up the following month with a more modest goal of $75,000. And this time it was successful, pulling in nearly $120,000 from 1,500 backers. Rewards included getting your name in the credits, movie merch, a DVD or Blu-ray of the film, and even a perk where one of the filmmakers would get a Velocipastor tattoo. Lucky for them, nobody bought this tier. Full disclosure, I am not one of the backers, so what I'm about to cover is not motivated by any personal frustrations with the project. So originally, the estimated delivery date for the Velocipastor 2 DVDs and Blu-rays was December 2023, but production on the sequel was delayed due to the SAG-AFTRA strike. However, principal photography began in September 2023, and by November of that very year, Velocipastor 2 had officially wrapped. We had an incredible 28 days of filming that will forever live in mine and the crew's hearts, a Kickstarter update reads. I'm sure every update has us saying how it couldn't be done without every single one of you, but here I go again. Thank you. We launched this Kickstarter almost exactly a year ago, and now we have a movie. The next update came in May 2024, when the filmmakers shared they were deep into the post-production process. Unfortunately, this seems to be where some issues began. Brendan Steer, who wrote, directed, edited, and produced the first Velocipastor movie, ended up leaving the project. On his Instagram, Steer wrote, "This year I quit Velocipastor 2, stepped away from filmmaking, and focused on my mental health and what I'd like to do with my life." It's not known exactly how Steer's departure affected Velocipastor 2, but soon fans began to get frustrated with the slow process of the movie's edit. "Where's the damn movie?" one Redditor posted. "Starting to feel like a scam," another wrote. Still, the Velocipastor team were fairly diligent in giving updates to their Kickstarter backers in the early months of 2025. Also, at some point, the filmmakers had to reacquire the distribution rights for the first movie, so that may have slowed things down for Velocipastor 2. Ultimately, about 3 years after the Kickstarter began, the official trailer for Velocipastor 2 finally premiered at New York Comic-Con. The team even brought the original dinosaur costume to the convention. I would have marked out if I saw this in person. And as for the trailer, this thing looks great. They went full Dario Argento for this thing, which as a horror fan, I love.
From the team that brought you the Velocipastor comes a new exercise in Jurassic horror.
I will be kept safe by the power of my virginity.
The 1,000 virgin sacrifice is nearly complete, and you could be next. The Velocipastor 2.
Velocipastor 2 director Jesse Goldsberry revealed, "We're not trying to do Velocipastor again. The joke of it being a low budget, see the strings on the back of their clothing thing, we did that joke already. What we're trying to do for this is to be like, here's a new experience." So with the trailer finally out and excitement for the film's sequel at its highest since the Cretaceous period, Velocipastor 2's backers eagerly waited for their Kickstarter perks. And waited, and waited, and waited, and waited. For the next 8 months, nothing but radio silence. The final cut for Velocipastor 2 was completed in June 2026. Yep, that's right, the film is done. A premiere was held in Prague at a 14th century church with about 500 people in attendance. It was then screened at San Diego Comic-Con in July. And as of this video going up, Velocipastor 2 has additional screenings booked in New York and Toronto. The only issue is the Kickstarter backers have yet to receive their DVDs and Blu-rays. They haven't even been sent a digital copy of the movie. "Wow, signs of life," one backer wrote. "I had assumed the project was dead since there had been no updates on social since December. That's nice that y'all are thinking about theaters and festivals, but you're missing the plot of Kickstarter. Most of the 1,500 people who backed the movie want their digital and/or physical copies." The Velocipastor team did leave comments on the Kickstarter thread saying their hands are more or less tied when it comes to fulfilling the orders. According to the filmmakers, the Velocipastor 2 DVDs, Blu-rays, and even its streaming release has to be decided by the film's distribution partner, and there's been no date secured as of yet. The most recent Kickstarter update came in July, and still no word on when backers may receive their perks. That's great for you, but what about the rewards we paid for? I don't really want to have to fork over more money to see a movie I helped finance. I feel ripped off. You don't care about your backers or how Kickstarter works. So I was able to get in contact with the Velocipastor team, and Jesse Goldsberry was able to offer a little clarity on the Kickstarter delays. He said, "Part of the reward structure was grouping in the merch with the Blu-ray DVD pre-order, which ended up being much more of a problem than expected. I've even looked into breaking the shipping into 2 separate ones, but didn't want to ask people to pay double shipping. I don't like announcing things before they're 100% locked because of how unpredictable this whole process has been, but we're going to be doing a numbered Kickstarter exclusive slipcase added to all physicals and an additional little item to all orders to hopefully make the wait a little more worth it. I also asked members of the Velocipastor subreddit if anyone had received any of their Kickstarter perks. Here are some of the answers I got. Nope, absolutely nothing and zero communication. To be honest, the Kickstarter has severely soured my attitude towards the movie. The fact that they've pretty much abandoned the ones that actually funded it really upsets me. Nope. I've messaged them multiple times asking about them and they've never had a response. It's also a bit scummy that they aren't doing a first showing of the film for Kickstarter backers. Instead, they're showing it at a festival that most backers won't be able to go to. I've tried reaching out and had no luck. My best friend put in the $300 on our behalf. We loved the first one. Then he passed away suddenly. It would mean a lot to get anything, even an answer. Was hoping to get in touch about a screening of the new one at our local indie theater. His family would have loved it. But the Velocipastor team is working on a way to give Kickstarter backers their own screening. Jesse Goldsberry told me, "I've been talking for a few months with the company and think we have it figured out on how we can do backer exclusive live stream screening. The plan is to do 2 or 3 to accommodate time zones. I'm excited to show it to the backers and hope they're just as proud of the film they helped bring into the world as I am." For the past 4 years, Velocipastor 2's backers have essentially experienced their own version of what Hollywood calls development hell. The many circles of development hell are almost always beyond the filmmaker's control, and that does seem to be the case for Velocipastor 2. At the same time, the Kickstarter backers are definitely justified in their frustrations. I'd be pissed too if a bunch of random Comic-Con attendees got to see a movie I helped finance while I'm just sitting at home wondering when I might see it. Still, the Velocipastor remains the greatest shitty movie ever made, and the filmmakers clearly put a lot of time and care into making the sequel. Those who have seen Velocipastor 2 have given it great reviews. I just hope the 1,500 backers who made the movie possible are able to see it soon.